Hello and a warm welcome to December 2024. It's a pleasure coming your way this afternoon once again with stories from the Joy Newsroom. My name is Carlos Kaloni. We're live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV, channel 125, and around the globe on myjoyonline.com. It's 6 days to election 2024, and this is your election headquarters. Coming up this afternoon, the NDC and MPP turn Ashanti region into a key battleground ahead of Saturday's election. Intensifying campaign in a vote-for-vote contest as NPP presidential candidate makes a quick return to the region just a day after John Mahama also kicks off his final campaign there. Now we'll take you live to Kumasi for the latest from both camps. Now is worshipping with the Holy Trinity Church here in Accra, and I will cross over live to speak to my colleague Elton John Broby, who is on the ground. Elton, what more can you report?
So, Carlos, President Akufo-Addo just concluded his first phase of the Greater Accra region tour. He just left the Trinity Church here, the Anglican Trinity Church on the high streets of Accra, and is now heading to the Nat Hall. The Nat Hall is where the president is expected to meet the party executive, regional constituency executives for some kind of a party discussion on the way forward. Remember that Greater Accra is considered to be the battleground for the 2024 elections, and for that reason, whoever is able to win Greater Accra will be in a pole position to win the 2024 election. Now, President Akufo-Addo just left, and he called on the congregants to vote for his preferred choice for the presidency, that's Dr. Bawumia. But before getting to that, he referenced the fact that as far as government is concerned, they have resourced the Electoral Commission, they've resourced the security agencies, they've resourced everybody that needs to be resourced for the 2024 elections. So for that reason, everything is up and set for a smooth conduct of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections across the country. And for that reason, he expects the polls to be peaceful, orderly, and credible. That is his call to the congregation. What he demanded from them was that they should go all out in their numbers and vote, and also do so in an orderly and peaceful manner. And he expects them to vote for the MPP's candidate. Now, from here, we are moving to the Nat Hall. The Nat Hall is where the president is engaging the regional and executive members of the MPP, some kind of a family affair meeting to shape up things ahead of the election. And then finally we'll end the first day of the 3-day Greater Accra tour at the James Town Harbour, where he will meet traditional rulers from Greater Accra to sell the Bawumia message to them. So, Carlos, this has been the first stop, the first of many whistle stops to come today. And we are now moving to the Nat Hall for that engagement between the president and the regional and executive body. As I speak to you now, the party executive, Lord Kwame, who is the director of operations at the presidency, is still engaging some party members, and some other people came to support the president. But because it was a church affair, not a lot of people were here. But bottom line is that the MPP says that this election, even though they are in power, they are coming in as underdogs, and the hope is that they will win the elections. That is the hope they are nursing.
In fact, we have already, the vice president, the flag bearer of the party, has given a national message to the security persons, those who have special duties on election day, and we've sent our message to them. We've made our pitch. We're encouraging them as much as possible to ensure that this government continues to run the affairs of this country under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, largely based on the message and our ability to mobilize the entire country. The new bold solutions we are presenting to the country have been well accepted by the people, and I believe that those within the security services are also part of the general Ghanaian society and surely will benefit from these policies.
While the vice president is in the region, the former president John Mahama is also in the region touring. He just had into Asantemaya Sidapani walk in the Asawase constituency, and he has been hitting hard on the vice president and the MPP for neglecting the region. Do you think that you've neglected the region?
I don't think that we've neglected this region. We have done so much in this region. The roads, you go to Juabeng, you see the roads. You go to Ebuakwa, you go to Echumaponya, you go to Nyinahine. I mean, there are a number of hospitals. The last time the president was here, commissioned close to about 3-4 hospitals here. They should tell us, the NDC, what have they offered Asante Mai? What? Absolutely nothing. The vice president, the former president himself, what has he done specifically for Asante Mai? This is a region they neglect. This is a region they berate. This is a region they insult. This is a region they have no use for. So what is he talking about? This is the stronghold of the New Patriotic Party. We hold them dear to our heart. We respond to their needs. And there is nothing Asante Mai has demanded, wanted in terms of development that the New Patriotic Party hasn't done for Asante Mai. And we can go on. The list is tall. I can mention and go on and tell you infrastructure, road projects, interchanges that we are building, hospitals that we are building, I mean schools that have been opened, and the expansion, job opportunities for people that we have provided in Ashanti region. We can't even talk about it. So the question we've been asking the president, the former president, is what is his plan for Ashanti region? He cannot tell you what his plan is for Ashanti region. Apart from all they could do is to attack Ashanti region, attack the people, attack their tribe, attack the king. That's all they are interested in. Otherwise, they have nothing to offer Ashanti.
Lastly, while you take leave of us, how are you seeking to get your 85% vote on Saturday?
That's a matter of strategy, and I'm not about to disclose that on your very broad network. That's a matter of strategy for us. So far, we are cruising nicely. Ashanti is back. We are cruising nicely. And on the 7th, I'm sure you will see what is going to happen in Ashanti. We are certain that this election is not going into a runoff. This election will be a one-touch victory for Mahmoud Bawumia. And like we have indicated, by midnight, you would see where the direction of this election is headed. And I'm very confident. I have been around all 275 constituencies in Ghana. I've been around twice in 3 years, and so I have a good sense of the pulse of the nation. I have a good sense of the pulse of the constituencies. I know who they are looking at. I know who the candidate they are thinking of. I understand the problems that have been raised by these people, and it's the MPP that has begun to provide solutions for that. So winning this election, we are not complacent. We are never complacent, and I want to take this opportunity to speak to the thousands youth of the MPP across the country. No stone unturned until the 7th of December when the votes are casted and counted. We must continue to ensure this is the last stretch. We must continue to push hard.
Now away from that to the NDC now, because John Dramani Mahama is also there in the Ashanti region organizing a walk where some of the participants expressed disappointment in the MPP's handling of the region. They said that the MPP has taken the Ashanti region for granted due to its massive support over the years, regardless of the party's performance in governance. They believe that John Mahama will prioritize the development of the region if given the mandate. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba joined them for the walk and now reports. Now, take you live to the ground and talk to my colleague now. Maxwell, you are still in the Ashanti region. What can you tell us now from the NDC's camp? Yeah, Maxwell, if you could reposition yourself so we can hear you, if you can speak up also so we can hear you loud and clear. It appears that we can hear you. If you can speak up.
Hello, Carlos, can you hear me now?
Solid, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so key among the things that the NDC presidential candidate talked about was that the NDC had long planned to visit the Ashanti region for its tour, but the campaign team was unable to do so earlier due to Dr. Bawumia's activities in the region. He expressed surprise upon hearing this morning that the NPP presidential candidate had returned to the region. According to him, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can bring his entire campaign machinery to the Ashanti region, but would not prevent him from losing the elections on December 7th. Now, addressing the media and police personnel and others who will be participating in the special voting tomorrow, he urged them to reflect on the hardships they have endured in recent years. He said that the wind of change is blowing, and it should begin with them tomorrow as they go to the polls to vote. Now, John Mahama also reiterated his concerns about what he described as the neglect of the Ashanti region by the NPP. He assured that the NDC would complete all the interchanges and infrastructure projects left unfinished by the current government. He has also been talking about some of the NDC's flagship programs and promises that it says it would implement if it's elected. He says the 24-hour economy is something that's going to provide jobs for the teeming number of young people who remain unemployed because of some of the policies of this current government. He says the current government will have 10 close to 200 savings loans, institutions. He says all of that, a lot of young people.
Okay, Maxwell, could you reposition yourself a bit? I think your line is breaking there. We're talking to my colleague Maxwell Agbagba, who is with the NDC presidential candidate who has taken his campaign tour to the Ashanti region for the next few days before the election. Maxwell, if you can hear me, tell us how the people have been reacting to the flag bearer's message from the NDC camp. Well, we are trying to re-establish connection to my colleague, Maxwell.
Yeah, hello, Carlos.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I was asking earlier how the people have been reacting to John Mahama's message in the Ashanti region for the next few days now that you've been there.
Well, many of them say they are optimistic that development will return to this region. They say that development here in the Ashanti region has been at a standstill ever since the NPP government took over the reins of governance. They say that the party has been quite complacent because they believe that no matter what happens, they will still win a lot of the votes from this region because this region continues, to be their stronghold. They say that on December 7th, those I've been interacting with, and quite a number of those who also came for the walk at the Jubilee Park, they say that on December 7th, they're going out there to send out a strong message that they say will resonate with majority of the people, that they say would also represent the views of the majority of the people here in this region. Some of them who have been speaking to say that the only way that they think that development can return to the Ashanti region is by voting out this current government, and they are determined, to do that. So, when the convoy of the NDC team, the campaign team, drive through town yesterday in Nsuta, Mampong, and a number of communities, you find people standing on the shoulders of the road doing the sign of the change, doing the change sign, the sign of the change, indicating that they are ready to push for change on December 7th, Carlos.
Numbers also on the screens. In the eastern region, we understand the former president raised some issues and criticized the NPP government. Actually, that happened in the Ashanti region. Tell us why that statement, if you can clarify that for us.
Yes, he has also been reiterating the point of neglect. And like I mentioned earlier, that's been the general sentiment, in this region. When you interact with people, that is the sense that you get. And these sentiments were echoed by the NDC presidential candidate, John Mahama, when he mounted the stage. He said he's seen quite a number of contractors returning to site as it is getting closer to the election. And he says this is just a way, and this is just a move by the NPP to hoodwink the people, into voting for them. And he's asking them to remain vigilant. He's asking them to remember all the hardship, to remember all the broken promises that they've had to endure over this year, so that when they go into the polling booth, they should vote for the NDC. And when the NDC returns, the NDC will prioritize, their needs. Although the Ashanti region is not, the stronghold of the party. He said they would prioritize their needs if the party is elected in December, Carlos.
Please tell us where the former president going to be today, tomorrow, in terms of this campaign. All right, I think we've lost my colleague there. But presidential candidate and leader of New Force, Nana Kwame Bediako, is confident of victory in next week's general election as he joins worshippers at Perez Chapel for a successful campaign. Now, speaking at the Thanksgiving service this morning, he also made a case for a peaceful election.
Well, they always say, if you saw any politician in church, he's there to campaign. I guess you can clearly see that me and Sam George were here not for campaign, but to worship God, to show appreciation, to praise God, and to show the world that God is with us. I would like to just share with the church my story with this church. Thank you. 22 years ago, I was called by a bishop, and I didn't know him very well then. He said he called me because of the tithes I was paying. He wanted to see the person he wanted to see me in person. And from that very moment, he encouraged me. And I went on paying my tithes. It's been something between me and my God, that the things that I do for God and the things that he does in return for me, it comes back in 1,000 folds. In the past 2.5 months, I've visited 1,248 communities and 276 constituencies in this country. And today I'm coming here for Thanksgiving, to give thanks to God for protecting us, guiding us, all the drivings, all the places, the food we ate and everything, and all the poverty, the pollution and everything that we saw. We were able to at least give hope to Ghanaians that most of us have never met. I'm happy that he has taken us through this. But we want to also give this Thanksgiving for Bishop and the rest of the bishops and pastors of this country to pray for Ghana for a peaceful election.
Now, the Member of Parliament and parliamentary candidate for the Ningo Pram constituency, Sam George, was also at the Thanksgiving service, and this is what he had to say about the elections.
I remember when I joined Perez Chapel 16 years ago in the old auditorium. I was not Jata. I was just an ordinary young man looking for direction in life. And the God of Archbishop Charles Ajinasari has gone with me to every battle, starting in 2015 with Honorable E.T. Mensah, to 2016, to 2019, 2020, 2023, and I am confident that by this time next week, Sunday, as is the custom of my team and I, after every election, I bring my entire team from Ningo Pram to kneel before this altar and give praise to the God of heaven and the God of Ajinasari. And so continue to bear us up in prayer, because I know that the Lord has gone before us already.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has asserted that the New Patriotic Party's presidential candidate, Dr. Bawumia, is a superior choice in the presidential race. According to him, Dr. Bawumia's qualities are exceptional, hence making him the best cut out to lead and position Ghana for the fourth industrial revolution. He said this when speaking at a stakeholders engagement in the Volta regional capital of Ho.
I genuinely believe that of the two main contestants seeking office in Ghana today, to be the 6th president of the 4th Republic. He is the superior choice. In these 16 years that I've worked with this man, I have not had one single doubt about his quality and his fitness. And his concern for Ghana is immense. I gave you the story of the Agenda 1.1. The same manner in which he has taken up the responsibility for driving the digitalization process through, because he knows that our ability to meet the 4th industrial revolution is what will decide our fate in this 21st century. The qualities of this man are exceptional. The decision we're going to make on the 7th of December, a week today, is going to be one of the most consequential decisions that our generation of Ghanaians are going to be called upon to make. And that is why it is important that we bear in mind all the considerations that will enable us to make an informed choice. I understand political allegiances and political loyalties. But at the same time, I think there are moments when we have to look above the parapet and think of the long-term destiny of our country and choose the right man. I am confident, and I'm saying so in all solemnity to the people of Ghana, the people of the Volta region, that Muhammadu Bawumia is the man of destiny for our country.
Santonio Otumfuo-Assetu II has called for immediate resolution of the impasse in Ghana's parliament. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, threw out the majority leader's request to recall the House after an indefinite adjournment, insisting on a sitting after the December 7, 2024 elections. Now, this was after the New Patriotic Party caucus in Parliament failed to show up when the House was recalled on November 7, 2024. Speaking at the 58th congregation of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Otumfuo-Assetu II called for truce to forestall peaceful democratic governance.
On the evidence of our 4th Republic, it should be clear to all our political protagonists that no party is in a position to win such an absolute majority. It cannot administer the affairs of the nation without the cooperation of the other party. The successful administration of the country under the political party would require a large dose of bipartisan cooperation. Tragically, the current impasse has so ruptured the bipartisan spirit that it threatens to spill over into the future, thrashing the prospect for bipartisan cooperation in the next parliament. This is the certain route to ruin, and it has to be unacceptable to every Ghanaian who cares about our common destiny. Let us join together the beating of hearts of our people from the village to city across Ghana and invoke the cardinal spirit of reconciliation to urge our political leaders to step back from the path to ruin and return to the path of bipartisan cooperation to restore our hopes for future progress and prosperity.
You're still watching Joy Newsroom with me, Carlos Calone. We'll take a short break. We'll return with business. Please stay. Welcome back. In business, Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority, Pina Manapel, has called on employers, particularly the government sector, to take practical steps to prioritize mental health in the workplace. Speaking at the 13th graduation and conferral ceremony of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, she stressed the need for employers to initiate support systems and create access to mental health resources such as employee assistance programs.
The graduation and conferral ceremony makes it 367 practitioners for the Institute for 2024 from 291 in 2023. Its associate members is now 2,237 in 2024 from 1,925 in 2023. Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority, Pinaman Apao, urged employers to promote frank conversations about mental health by creating a safe environment where employees feel comfortable discussing their mental health concerns without fear of being labeled.
We've been talking about having psychological safety, psychological well-being or safety within the workplace. This is where we think that employees should be encouraged to voice out their thoughts, be able to voice out their ideas without any fear of having being punished or so. So we encourage the human resource professionals to encourage an environment where the employees thrive.
President of the Institute, Florence Hatchful, urged the graduates to uphold the standards of the Institute.
My advice to them, which I actually highlighted in my remarks, is that they uphold the highest standards of ethical practice and conduct in the profession. I also expect them to transform the HR function wherever they find themselves from being an administrative one to a more strategic and people-centered function.
Chief Executive Officer of the Institute, Dr. Francis Idukun, called for more collaboration between the private and the public sector.
Today's event has been very informative. We've brought the new chartered members on board and we want them to learn about what I call the 5 C's of the HR profession. They have to be courageous, they have to be curious, they have to be caring, they have to be competent, and more importantly, they have to demonstrate credibility.
We'll take a short break. We'll return with World News. Please stay. Now, in international news, South Africa is set to make history today, Sunday, as it assumes the presidency of the G20, becoming the first African nation to lead the influential group of major economies. Johannesburg will guide the G20's agenda until the end of 2025, at which the United States will take over. As G20 president, South Africa will face the challenge of steering the group toward addressing pressing global issues, including inclusive economic growth and the escalating risk of climate change. However, these priorities must contend with the stark realities of ongoing trade disputes and rising geopolitical tensions. At the most recent summit in November, G20 leaders issued a joint declaration covering a wide array of global concerns. South Africa's leadership will be pivotal in navigating these complex dynamics and ensuring that the G Summit advances its leadership on the global stage. Well, that's all we have time for here on Joy Newsroom. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Caloni. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great afternoon.